I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Opened in 1964, Phoenix Raceway hosted IndyCar races for more than 40 consecutive years, and later had the Copper World Classic in 1977. From there, it was only a matter of time until NASCAR brought the Cup Series here for the first time in 1988. Alan Kulwicki's first career win came in that race. He celebrated with the now infamous Polish victory lap that many drivers still utilize today. Through its history, the 1 mile oval has always been defined by its asymmetrical turns and dogleg, which was implemented in part because of the natural terrain of the area. With different progressive banking at each end of the track as well, Phoenix is often a favorite track of drivers for challenges that they face in setting up their cars and maximizing performance. Although its backstretch dogleg already made it one of the most unique ovals in America, the track's latest renovation, which was completed in 2018, made it even more unique. Start-finish line was moved between the former Turn 2 and the dogleg, fundamentally changing how drivers would approach each lap, while the former front stretch grandstand was removed in favor of expanding seating closer to the new start-finish line. The shift also led to a reconfiguration of pit road. This layout made its NASCAR Cup Series debut in November of 2018 and began hosting NASCAR's championship weekend with the 2020 season. And tonight, it's race number 4 of the Vigilante Racing League, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Phoenix Raceway. I'm joined in the broadcast booth by Chris Goins. I'm Steve Singer with Track Limits Network. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Steve. How you doing today?
We're doing good. Good to be here. A tape-delayed broadcast from this past Wednesday. We're going to treat it as if it's live because neither one of us really know much about what happened here tonight. But let's get into it. Race details tonight. 153 laps the race distance. 86-degree ambient temperature. 14% humidity. Dry enough here in the desert. Ironically, overcast skies, a 6-mile-per-hour breeze, track temp 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Let's go down trackside to see what the fast times are. Right now it is the 14 of Dustin Eaton, a 56. That's not even right. Once again, we're doing a tape-delayed broadcast, folks, and sometimes the data just gets a little screwy into the overlays, but that's okay. We'll get it squared out. Alan Vaught, a 23.528. He's second quick on the timing and scoring. Again, just about a minute plus left in this session. We'll get right into qualifying. We got Jeremiah Burke in the chat already. He says, best NASCAR racing facility on the planet. I don't know if I would say it's the best, but it is pretty cool. Looks good from the air, especially here under the lights. What really is the key to getting around a place like this, Chris? I mean, is it tire savings? I know it's not the most abrasive out there, but just given the nature of the track and its proximity to the desert, it can become problematic.
Yeah, with these tires, like you said, they don't necessarily wear like they do at some of the other places like Old Atlanta and places like that. But with the, you do see a lot of temperature in these tires. With it being flat, it does cause a lot of friction there. So the heat in the tire is more of the factor than more so the wear. So getting around these turns smoothly without generating too much friction while maintaining grip is key around here.
Seeing some stuttering issues as far as the visual quality with the most recent update. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing that. I did not see it previous to this. We're going to take a real short break here. We're going to try and rectify that, so stand by. We'll be back with qualifying here in just a moment. Back at Phoenix Raceway, qualifying underway as we watch Andrew Player. First lap was a 27 and change. Looks like lap 2, 27.110. Got some second quick on the board. Mayberry finishing up here, 27.041. Top time so far, 27.041. It's the 29 of Dave Mayberry. Close second for Eaton of 0.42. Missed it by 1,000th of a second. As Vaught goes to the pole, though, 26.922. Now DW Derek Welch jumps up to the second spot, 27.039. Incredible. 3/1000ths of a second separating second through fourth. Actually, really second through fifth. Oh, and Vaught loose coming to the start-finish line for lap 2. See if that time holds. Kyle Vaught in the 16 truck. 27.177 for Kyle. Larry Dickerson in the number 69. Dickerson out of the gas, gets to turn 4 wall just a bit. That will invalidate the lap, I believe. 27.199 for Larry Dickerson. Dylan Bryant on the track. 25th quick first time around. See if he can pick up the pace here on lap 2. Out of the throttle again, loses the back of the truck, crosses the stripe. 7th quick, 27.086 for Dylan Bryant. 20 seconds left in the session, I believe. Andrew Cawthon. And that wraps it up. Time expires on the session, so we'll jump right into the race here in just a moment. Field beginning to grid up. So let's take a look here. The starting grid for race number 4 on the pole position with a blistering lap of 26.916 seconds. It's a 33 of Alan Vaught. Outside front row, missed it by almost a full tenth. In fact, a little bit over a tenth. It's the 48 of Jack Dixon. Fast lap for Alan Vaught. Row 2, it's Tim Pope in the 7. Derek Welch in the 21. Row 3 is Dustin Eaton and Dave Mayberry. Starting in the 4th row, it's Dylan Bryant and Andrew Player. Row 5, Trevor Robertson and Mike Adamson. Starting 11th, it's the 47 of John McAdam. Starting 12th, the 16 of Kyle Vaught. Larry Dickerson starts 13th, Kelly Cool 14th. Jeremiah Burke rolls from the 15th spot with Stoney Benfield starting 16th. George Rincon in the 28 machine will start 17th with David Feit 18th. 19th, John Gallagher, Scott Roney 20th, Ricky Wittenberg 21st, Dustin Wade 22nd. Austin Paul, 23rd. Anthony Williams, 24th. Sean McDonald will start 25th. 26th starter, it's Craig Goodenough. 27th goes to Josh Bittner. The number 99, Albert Anderson, starting near the back in 28th. Chris Klein, 29th. 30th, Mike Everidge. 31st goes to the 2 of Russ Kilgore. Greg Klein, 32nd. Greg Dobson, 33rd. Andrew Coffin, 34th. Joe Canellis, 35th. Dion Jones, 36th. 37th, Kevin Hunt in the 4 of 34. And last but not least, shotgun on the field, it's the 72 of Chandler Paul. Your starting grid here from Phoenix Raceway. Field gridding up currently. Should have everybody rolling momentarily. I think we're still waiting on Albert Anderson to head on out. Well, we got some time, Chris. Who's our pick?
Oh, man. Racing with Alan, as much as I have here recently, as fast as he looks here tonight, I'm going to have to take the 33 on this one.
Well, you stole my pick. So I'm going to go with the 14 of Dustin Eaton for the win.
Wrong choice. He's fast pretty much everywhere he goes, it seems like.
And if I remember correctly, I think Eaton picked up the win at Coda last week.
Yeah, he did. Move around.
Again, quickly race details tonight. 153 laps the race distance. 86 degree temperature, 14% humidity, overcast skies, a 6-mile-per-hour breeze. Fuel window should get them about 45 to 48 laps, depending on how well they manage that fuel system. Track temperature nice and cool at 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Pace car is in. Looks like they're going to go an extra lap here. Pace car back in. Again, a rather unconventional pit entry here. It looks like they really get that entry out of turn 2. So the pace truck heads down pit lane very early here. Field still needs to maintain that pace speed before working through 3 and 4 into the dog leg. We're ready to go racing. Alan Vaught leads him down. Jack Dixon to the outside. Green flag in the air. We're racing from Phoenix. Vaught still side by side with Dixon down into turns 3 and 4. Vaught maintains the lead, now gets clear of the 48. About a truck length between the top 2 drivers, 2 to 3 trucks back to the 7 to Tim Pope. Keep a close eye on that 7 here tonight. Pope's going to be fast. And the shortcutting has begun. Pope up to second now as Dixon loses a ton of ground in that exchange going down to the flat of the racetrack. Now, Chris, in your experience with cutting the dog leg, I mean, I know a lot of guys talk about it's necessary. Some guys don't like it at all. What say you on that topic? Is shortcutting the way to go around here?
I'm in that group that doesn't like it. I very seldom will actually take that shortcut. Just the transition from the banking to the flat and then back to the banking, it tends to throw you off a little bit. I know a lot of guys can use it to make up a little bit of ground, but I don't see the benefit in quarter entry because you have to basically cut that dog leg and take a much shallower corner entry there into turn 1. So all the time that you make they're cutting the dog leg, you lose in the corner because that high side is going to get a better run if you're side by side.
So far, so good. Race leader continues to cut the course and extend his lead over the 7 of Tim Pope, just about 6/10 plus here. So we got 5 laps in here at Phoenix Raceway. Eaton now up to 3rd. Dixon has slipped from 2nd to 4th, and he's going to lose that here in a moment as Derek Welch applying pressure on the 48. 21 looking to the outside. Welch stays up on the racetrack while Dixon drops it to the bottom, and you see it really stays pretty even. Welch continues to have the nose into the corner, but Dixon on the bottom is going to have the short way around. He'll wrap that yellow line. Oh, Dylan Bryant in the fence out of the corner, straightens it back out. Drivers taking evasive action, but they continue on. We got Chan the Man 72 in the chat says, is it me or is he really quiet? Well, for starters, we got to know who you're talking about. I can turn up volume on my end or Chris's end, or maybe it's the cars, I don't know, but let me know who you're talking about. I'm Steve, that's Chris. We'll see if we can bump his volume up. I can do that over here if need be. Welch gets clear of Jack Dixon now. Dixon worried about the 6 of Robertson. Andrew Player applying pressure to Dylan Bryant. Right on board here with Player as he tries to take that spot away.
You know, Steve, we've seen Dylan get kind of close to that wall coming off of 2 a couple of times. The one time, obviously, he did touch a little bit. You know, hitting it like he did that once or twice isn't going to do too much, but you keep that repeated, you're going to knock that front fender, and it's going to cause you some problems later on in the run for sure.
You can make a mistake once or twice. Sometimes once is enough, but eventually you're going to flatten that right rear out. And I'm not talking about the tire necessarily. I'm talking about the body work. You want that right rear hung out in the air as much as possible, especially in the corner, to get a little bit of side force so that truck doesn't get seriously loose. I think it's kind of what Chris is talking about. Of course, in the Cup car, it gets even worse. You start worrying about bending suspension components. Player gets a little closer here, exiting turn 4, a little higher up the racetrack, keep the air on the nose of that truck. Player out of Concord, New Hampshire. In fact, that's where I was this week when I couldn't broadcast on Wednesday. I didn't know Andrew was out there. I might have stopped and said hi. Had a couple of dinners locally at the Cheers restaurant, then at Angelina's. There's probably 1 or 2 people that have any idea what I'm talking about, but that's okay. So Player unable to do anything with Dylan Bryant. Bryant settling down into a rhythm. Meanwhile, Vaught continues to lead, but Pope's getting a little closer there. It's down to under 4/10, a little bit more now in the middle of turn 2. We got Chan the Man says, that sounds a lot better. The trucks were covering up. I couldn't hear Chris. I did pump his volume up slightly, and I did pull back the race cars slightly as well. And nobody give him any trouble on that, because I do appreciate that feedback, even live broadcast, because I can't fix it if I don't know about it. I hear the mix in my ears. It sounds fine, but when it's in your ears versus a speaker, sometimes it's a little cleaner on the headset. Watt continues to lead, stretches that out now to 6/10 where he was a little while ago. Pope either backing down slightly to maybe save some tire for later on in this run. We're 14 laps in. Eaton runs 3rd, Welch 4th, Dixon now 5th, but he may lose that now as Robertson gets to the inside. Dixon might be lucky enough here to have Dylan Bryant into the mix as he's applying pressure to Robertson here. It's helping Dixon hang on to that spot, but now Bryant gets through. He takes the spot from the 6, and now he's looking for more on the 48. Player now working the outside of Robertson. Looking at this 48 truck, Chris, it kind of looks like an Energizer scheme with a different company logo on it. Take a peek at this thing when you get another minute to see how that truck looks. Does it not look like an Energizer scheme?
Yeah, it does. Like the old one that had the multicolor with the red and yellow before they went to the straight silver.
Now the battle is on for that position. 5th place at stake here. Dixon has it. Dylan Bryant working to the inside. Dixon really been falling back from the drop of the green flag slowly, not free falling by any means, but he was outside pole sitter, runs in the 5th spot now, and he's doing all he can to hang on to it for the time being. Trevor Robertson took a crack at it, cost him a position as Dylan Bryant moved up in behind the 48, but now Bryant knocking on the back door of the 48 big time here, 18 laps in. Now Player, man, they've 2 lower trucks there cut the dog leg significantly. The 6 of Robertson was all the way down on the bottom.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Steve. It wouldn't surprise me in situations like that if later on in the race you see it cause a problem with someone coming up and not quite fully clear because you can't see him out that right side. Seen it happen time and time again.
Alan Vaught has grabbed another gear, has now jumped to a 2.5 advantage over the 7 of Tim Pope. Looks like Dustin Eaton playing with his food right now, reeling in the 7 of Pope, trying to take that 2nd spot away, but not in a hurry to do so, just kind of running in the tire tracks for the time being. Welch continues to ride that traditional line here at the Speedway. I don't think the 21 has cut the dog leg yet. Now, with all that said, Chris, I know your opinion on cutting the dog leg, and frankly, I don't like it either. It's the same reason I don't like the cars that go wide on the exit of the carousel at Watkins Glen and use all that new paved runoff as part of the racetrack. I get it. It's paved, they're going to use it. But why bother paving the top side of the racetrack otherwise? So, with all that said, though, running the traditional line here at Phoenix, at least, versus cutting the dog leg lap after lap after lap, I would say that cumulative effect to that would be the outside truck is going to burn a little bit more fuel. Can that be costly when this race comes down to its end?
If the fuel levels are real close at the end, maybe. Otherwise, I don't think that the shortest distance that they're making through the dog leg is going to cover that much in terms of fuel saving. But one thing I think you'll see it do is I think it can cost them in terms of tire heat, because you're going from that, like I said, that bank transition to that flat that causes more scrub, more slide, and you could see some tire temperature put into it. Maybe not necessarily any wear, but some extra temperature where if somebody that's not cutting the dog leg, that's just taking the standard banking around the outside, keeps that right side tire a little bit cooler, can maybe give them a little bit of extra time there towards the end of the run.
We have seen some guys in the past as well in doing that shortcut because of that transition that you talk about, damaging the truck, whether it's not even the truck, could be Xfinity car, Cup car, you name it. Cup car is a little more durable for the most part, but when you come down from the banking into that flat, the truck hits the ground hard. We have seen guys in the past have mechanical failures because of that. We've even seen engines expire because of it over the course of a full race. You do that 153 times, eventually you're going to hurt the truck. We've seen that at the Glen, too, in the past. You hit the curbing on the entrance to the bus stop because you basically shortcut that entry so aggressively. It really puts the truck up in the air. It slams hard down to the pavement. You've really got to be careful not to beat up or beat yourself in doing so.
Yeah, these machines are so aerodynamic dependent that you damage that front splitter, it gets just a little bit of air underneath the truck or car or whatever you're driving. It's going to create a little bit of drag, which slow you down even a tenth of a second. I mean, obviously we know in oval racing as well as road racing, a tenth of a second is a long time on the racetrack for sure.
lifting that front splitter up as well. Not so much the aerodynamics. I mean, yes, you're going to lose some drag. You're going to gain some drag for that matter, but you're also going to change the handling characteristics of the truck entirely. If you have lift in the nose of that truck, especially on corner entry where you're at the most speed you're going to carry into the corner, the nose is going to get a little light, which in turn is going to make the truck push up the racetrack, create a tight condition. That's all well and good if you're super loose before it happens, but if you're already battling a tight condition and you have a problem with that front valence getting bent up, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing you want to do is slide these things to the corner or just be uncomfortable in the truck. That's the main thing, is you want to be as comfortable as possible to put your truck where you need to make these passes. Like you see Robertson going to the outside here. That's the one thing I like about this track, is especially here in 1 and 2, it's so wide. There's 3 or 4 different lanes that you can choose from, and I kind of run that line that Robertson was running there through 1 and 2. I kind of like that third lane up to kind of get some speed down that straight back straight.
Robertson either completes the pass or maintains the position. I'm not sure what started first, the chicken or the egg, but Adamson in the 88 truck running in the tire tracks of Robertson for the time being as they work down the backstretch.
And one thing to keep your eye on, especially later in the runs, is coming down that backstretch, getting into turn 3 there, you'll see a lot of cars that enter low and then just push way up. It's really easy to overdrive that corner because of how it transitions out. It's not as sharp of an exit, so you think you can carry a little bit more speed, but you will push up the track towards the wall on old tires, pretty easily.
The other thing I got to wonder too is because it is so wide, it's kind of hard to get your turn-in points, your braking points, and knowing exactly where they are and hitting them consistently lap after lap after lap. If you miss it by just half a foot, it can really throw off the exit where you got guys lifting out of the throttle considerably because they got back to the gas too soon because it screwed up their entry getting into the corner, and then in turn it just throws away the entire lap.
Yeah, this track is big on, consistent, like you said, consistent braking points and things like that. You can see on the fence here as you go into each corner, there's some cones that are up in the fence, the catch fence. But I try to see if I can catch those as much as I can. If you're directly behind somebody, it's a little tougher to see them. But if you can kind of catch those out of your peripheral vision, you can kind of know where your braking points are, and I just try to utilize those as much as you can.
And with that said, it's another great point on how to drive the track, whether it's at Phoenix or Daytona. Not so much Daytona because you're wide open the whole way. You still need to know when to start turning in, but you've got traffic out there to deal with, and whether you're directly behind the truck or maybe you're just at the guy's door, maybe you can't see those cones in the catch fence. A lot of times what I would do, especially at places like the Glen or even Sonoma, you try to find your braking points, your markers, your landmark, so to speak, whether it's a cone, a notch in the Armco, or you name it. You try to find a secondary one to look at. If you can't look to the right, you got to find one that's on the left. It's a little different, but effectively you're trying to find 2 separate ways to learn the circuit. When you got to turn in, when you got to hit the brakes, when you can get back to the power, because it's not always going to be visible.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just try and find a spot like on the track, just a marking or where the pavement's a little bit lighter. You're talking about Coda last week. Going into 1 up the hill, there's a little spot where the track is just a little bit lighter, and that's just, I look for that every time I'm coming up through it. And you can typically see it even up close to somebody else.
I'll tell you, Chris, we're still watching this battle here with Bryant and Robertson and then Stoney Benfield right in behind. I just got the sneaking suspicion that the 75 might be tempted here to throw it 3 wide. There was a couple opportunities where there was a hole, and I thought he was going for it, opted not to, but now they start to single file back out. We'll see if Robertson can continue to hold off to 51.
Yeah, I think Stoney's done a good job of keeping his tires cool and fresh underneath him. So you see him kind of wrapping that yellow line there. So that just shows that his truck is handling even better than some of the other ones in front of him. You can't always get the run off the corner like you see there, but knowing that the truck is handling the way that it is, it's just a matter of time before he can put his truck in a position to be able to maintain that position off the corner and get that run past somebody.
Benfield solidly in the top 10 right now in the 9th position. Started 16th, so far so good for the 75. One of 2 Fords currently in the top 10. The rest of it Chevys and then a couple of Toyotas. Jack Dixon has continued to fall through the field, though. He's back now to the 11th spot, down 9 positions. Remember, he started outside pole. Dickerson going to take a look to the inside here as the shortcut to the dog leg might give him position. Now it does. Alan Vaught just checking out now. The advantage over 4 seconds, almost 4.5 over Tim Pope.
Yeah, that's another one he's just so good at saving his tires throughout the run is Alan there. So I don't think you'll see him wear him out, and you know, he'll be able to maintain that gap. I would have a sneaky suspicion.
Maintain. It's getting larger every single lap. Now 4.6 seconds for the 33 over second place. Again, a lot of race to run here. We're not anywhere near halfway just yet. Should be at the end of lap 76 would be the halfway point here at Phoenix. At which point we'll jump aside and take a break, but don't worry, not yet. When we do take our break, it'll be side by side. So you still won't miss anything except for mine and Chris's lovely voices.
You see, I noticed DW's still not cutting the dog leg, and he's actually been able to get around Dustin there for third. So I don't know if that's tires or what, but he's sticking to his plan of not cutting that dog leg, it seems like, and it seems to be working.
It's a keen observation. I'm curious to see how it paid off for him. Or if maybe that was something that he had learned on Tuesday of last week. Of course, Numb Thumbs Racing League had their race in the truck at this track the night before this particular race would have aired. So that is kind of the advantage for those guys that run over in Numb Thumbs, the Beatles Custom Car Carriers Truck Series. They have an opportunity to run the racetrack that they're going to run the day later over in VRL. If they run both leagues, it's kind of a practice event for them. They also run a practice race on Mondays, as do the drivers in VRL. So multiple opportunities for drivers to go out and get some seat time, get familiarized with the track. It almost forces you to put the time in practice for everybody, because it's something that is widely talked about throughout the Discord servers between both leagues. It's something that I think has really been beneficial for a lot of these leagues out there that do this. It makes for cleaner racing when it comes time to that main event.
Yeah, and it makes it extra difficult on guys like me who just wing it the night of.
Exactly.
And jump in and run 30 minutes of practice and hope.
Welch still running in third, but right there now, a truck length, maybe less to the back bumper of the 7 to Tim Pope. In fact, he is there. I think Tim Pope just grabbed a gear there. Yes, he did.
See that. I did notice that in the race that we ran on Tuesday, where a couple of guys were grabbing third gear into turn 3. So you may see that obviously with more people other than just him.
I kind of like to see it, to be honest, because it really does kind of throw back to the old days in the Cup Series in the mid to late 90s, where that was commonplace. Guys would definitely be using third gear later in the run, at least, to either get the car to rotate into the corner or to have that power on exit. Then it went away for a while, but now certainly here with the trucks, it's definitely back.
Yeah, it makes exit of turn 4 a little tricky too, because you got the higher RPMs, the older tires. You have a tendency to throw that tail into that truck sideways pretty easily doing that too.
45 laps in, Alan Vaught now 5.5 seconds out in front. This is starting to look like a Jimmy Johnson race in the Cup Series back about 10 years ago. Maybe at Dover.
Yeah, Dover or Charlotte.
Caution free to this point, 46 laps in here at Phoenix Raceway.
DW's coming in the pits.
DW losing connection there for a moment. Don't know what happened there to the 21. That could be a race ender for him. John McAdam also losing connection. This is interesting.
I wonder if it has to do with them being in the pits.
Now Russ Kilgore in pit lane. Alan Vaught takes it to pit lane as well. So that is the other thing too, Chris, is if the driver loses connection, the information that's transmitted out of iRacing into the overlay, it indicates that he's pitting, even though it may not necessarily be the case. Of course, they'll drop out of the running, kind of disappear until they come back. I haven't been able to find DW since. I don't know if he's able to make it back in. No, he's still out.
I just saw him coming out of the pits. He's going into one now, it looks like.
Well, Alan Vaught comes to the attention to his crew. Actually get to see the drivers do the pit stop, or sorry, the pit crew do the stop here because Alan's the one that sent us the replay, so he's lucky enough for his crew to show up. Still waiting for the day that we have enough processing power to have the whole field have that happen. That'll look so cool. So Tim Pope now the race leader out in front as Dustin Eaton pulls off the track. He'll hit pit lane as well. And we lose connection for Dustin Eaton as well. That is very interesting. And Tim Pope saving fuel right on board here, and listen to the lift and coast out of the driver, the number 7. Again, 47 laps was expected as the average fuel window. He's at lap 50 now. Off the gas, coasting into the corner, letting it drift up. Don't want to hit the brakes, don't want to waste that energy. Lap 51. Could it be he's trying to make this a 2-stop race?
That's what I was sitting here thinking. I was trying to do the math in my head real quick. If he can make it to, 51, 52, he may be able to make it a 2-stopper.
Well, here he is. He's coming to pit lane now. Yeah, something's going on here. Every time they hit pit lane, they disappear. So I don't know if there's a setting that I don't have ticked. I did do a graphics config right before the race considering the update, so maybe there's something I didn't check. Could be. Well, Ricky Wittenberg now your new race leader in the 55 truck. Ricky started back at 21st. Looks like Ricky's going to come to pit lane here. Watch again here. Does he disappear? Yep. Interesting. Well, we'll go back to Alan Vaught here as he's finished his pit work. He's running third, currently 22 seconds back. It looks like Ricky Wittenberg still the leader, still needing to make a pit stop. You want to talk about saving some fuel. The 55's getting it done. So it looks like the first round of stops just about completed here at Phoenix Raceway. A couple of drivers still needing to finish up. Andrew Player, though, made a pit stop. As we got one truck around, it's the 3. I believe we are under yellow. Again, ignore the 0th caution in the timing tower. SDK still hasn't found a way to fix that. Only happens in the replays, so we don't deal with it too often, but it's just mildly annoying. So first caution of the night. Looks like the 3 of Austin Paul went around. You saw it there live. Again, it's difficult to go back and watch the replays here because as soon as I click the live button post-replay, it'll take us to the very end of the replay, not live. Because in real life, the replay being live means it's over. But I might have a way. We'll take a look at it. Watch the 3, the silver truck topside. So 68 get into him here, or does he just come around? Looks like he's a little low, gets on the gas trying to get that run out of the corner, but doesn't open up the wheel. Does a good job locking it down. So 54 laps in here from Phoenix. Some pit stops underway. Again, See, this is interesting, Chris, because now Jack Dixon is in the pits, and we can see him just fine.
Yeah. I wonder if it has something to do with maybe the replay settings from when it was recorded. Maybe it's set to only show a certain amount of cars on pit road, and that would, I don't know.
I mean,
sure.
possibly.
Just
I think it's
speculation,
all
I guess.
it's all based on the end user setting.
Yeah.
When we go to break, I'll see if I can mess with that, and we'll do a little experiment. But Dixon quickly in and out of the pit, stop and go for fuel for the 48.
You know, I am surprised that you didn't see more people come in and take some fuel, especially being this close as they were to just having pit stops. This will put you a little bit further to probably make it on only one more stop if it stays green.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose some track position, but if you can negate another stop later on in the race, it's not a bad plan. So just about 1/3 distance here at Phoenix Raceway. First caution of the evening. So Alan Vaught will be the race leader, still waiting for some wave around trucks to go through. We are on the one to go as the lights on the pace truck have gone off. I think it was Greg Klein that might be running through. It waved around. Pace truck is in. Even the pace truck disappears in the pits. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried. Nobody tunes in to watch the pit stops anyway. So front row is going to be Alan Vaught and DW Derek Welch. And Robertson and Craig Goodenough. We're going to talk about him earlier too. He's up from the 26th position, now up into the top 5. Craig having a solid run. Green flag back in the air. Good jump for Allen. Welch, not a great restart up the racetrack. Robertson down to the bottom. Craig Goodenough might follow him on through. Welch maintains the 3rd spot as they get lined back out. Switches lanes, going to take a look into turn 3. Not enough room, I don't think. No, he keeps it down to the bottom, though. Robertson gives him some space. A little bit of a lane there at the bottom, but not enough for Welch to stay alongside. Robertson with a big-time run. Closes the gap now on Alan Vaught. And looks like we may be under yellow again. Another issue out on track. Not sure what it was this time. So again, caution on the speedway, 2nd of the evening. Might have been Greg Klein. Klein enters pit lane here. So with this caution, we're going to step aside here. I'm going to try and get that figured out here while we have a chance, while we're not at a competitive pace. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Phoenix Raceway, on the one to go, Alan Robertson will be on the front row. Good enough, and Dustin Eaton in row number 2. Derek Welch made a pit stop during that caution to top off for fuel. Looks like he did take tires as well, so see if the 21 is going to be in better shape moving forward. He's further back in the pack now. It's like Welch in the 25th position. Got some work to do, but still time to do it. Green flag back in the air. Vaught with the jump, as to be expected. Good enough jumps up to the second spot. Oh, car around Tim Pope. Tim Pope in trouble. Big time wreck in turn 4. A super speedway style wreck here in turn 4 just after the restart. Tim Pope, Mayberry, and others involved in this. Ought to write a song about this one.
Something about being 3 and 4 wide on the track is when something happens big.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's take a look at it just a moment ago. Mayberry drives it in way deep, goes up the middle, just gets into that truck. The 7, Tim Pope, sends him around. Yeah, Mayberry just went in a little deep. This happening.
You almost wonder.
Go ahead, Chris.
You almost wonder if the 7 owed the 29 money with that one.
So Rincon, Mayberry, Pope. Looks like Klein involved in this. Williams. Wittenberg is going to come through and hit Pope again. Not the Pope, but Pope. Looks like the 53 has gone around. Well, with that, we're going to step aside here again. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Phoenix on the one to go. Lap 66, working caution number 3 now. That was the big one. David Feit, Sean McDonald, Andrew Player, Albert Anderson, Jack Dixon, Austin Paul, Joe Canellis, Chandler Paul, Greg Dobson, Scott Roney, Sean McDonald, if I didn't already mention him, Tim Pope, Dave Mayberry, and there's some others in that mix that got caught up in that wreck as well. So we'll try this again. Base truck hits pit lane, and now it's visible. So it was the settings on my end. We got that fixed. Oh, never mind. It just disappeared again. All right, front row, Alan Vaught, Craig Goodenough. Then row 2, it's Benfield and Robertson. Benfield working his way through quietly. Now in the top 5. Green flag in the air, Vaught up the racetrack. And we got truck around the 82 of Everidge. Does he straighten it back out? Seems like we're still on power. 3 wide out of turn number 2, though, down the backstretch. Hopefully they can get that squared away. Back to start finish. Alan Vaught with the race lead. Then it's good enough. Robertson, Benfield, Eaton. And I really don't think they're done wrecking. They're not. Bittner up the track. Drifts it into the wall. Taps the right rear, but continues on, and we stay green.
What a save. Didn't even need the wall to get straight.
So now it's Vaught and Goodenough, the top 2. Robertson 3rd. Benfield 4th. Eaton 5th. Not much change since the restart, except the distance between 1st and 2nd as it continues to grow. But exiting turn 2, Goodenough closes the gap by about 1/10.5. Good corner for the 89. Stoney still running in 4th. Eaton applying pressure, switches lanes, goes top of the racetrack. Might cross it over here. Nope, stays in the tire tracks. In fact, up a lane from Benfield. Want to give a call here to Russ Kilgore in that number 2 truck. He started back in 31st position here tonight. As we approach halfway, he's worked himself into the 6th position and looking for more. Wants that spot from Eaton to crack the top 5 for the first time today. Meanwhile, Derek Welch has quietly worked his way back from 25th after that extra pit stop into the top 10, running 8th, looking for more as well. He's trying to get around Kyle Vaught for 7th. Couple of drivers behind in the fence off turn number 2. Looked like it might have been Scott Roney who pancaked the right side just a bit. Saw the dust flying off the wall. Back up front, the battle for the lead starting to get a little bit more exciting as Goodenough has closed the gap to 3.5 tenths. Still a couple of trucks between the top 2, and the same from 2nd back to Robertson in 3rd. Oh, 2 cars in a wall. Roney and Burke go up the racetrack. Looks like they were 3 wide for a minute. They came together. We stay green, though. Burke doesn't seem too happy about it as he's all over the back bumper of Scott Roney. Gets into him again, shifts him up the racetrack. Now Roney bumps the outside wall. I think Burke got his payback. Didn't wreck him. Definitely got him loose, sent him up the track, though. So Roney continues to free fall. Both trucks sustaining a little bit of damage from that. You see the right rear pushed in on Burke's truck. That's going to affect the handling slightly. We talked about that earlier on in the race, how you need that side force mid-corner. Want that to step out into the air a little bit, drive the truck in yaw. Gets harder and harder to do if you flatten out that right rear. Kyle Vaught into the 10th position now. Derek Welch made short work of him. Took the 7th spot. Kyle has dropped back now to 10th. DW with Mike Adamson in tow. Back out front, lap 76 about to complete. We'll be halfway in just a moment. Alan Vaught still the leader. I think he's led just about every lap tonight. Not all of them, but most of them from pole. Cross his start-finish, and we are halfway. We'll step aside, get a side-by-side break out of the way, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco Sgarza when...
Back at Phoenix Raceway, we're watching the 21 here at Derek Welch in the side-by-side. He got a piece of the wall on corner exit a few laps ago, and about a lap later, real loose on corner exit. Struggling with the handling now on the 21. He's lost one spot, now back to 8th. He's got some room behind him to get a handle on it, maybe adjust his driving style here in the interim. We'll see if he can hang on to this thing until it's time to pit again. While Alan Vaught still out in front, a full second over Craig Goodenough. So top 5 update here: Alan Vaught, Craig Goodenough, Trevor Robertson, Stoney Benfield, Dustin Eaton. I don't think that has changed since we went back under Green Flag Racing. Class of the field certainly is the 33, though. No one seems to have anything for Alan tonight. Mike Adamson starting to work his way back through the field. Remember, he was behind Derek Welch in 8th. Welch has gotten his spot back up to 7th, but Adamson now 6th, applying pressure to the 14. Still a couple of truck lengths back. Eaton thinks it's time to go, though, as he's starting to apply pressure to the 75 of Benfield. Dylan Bryant and Andrew Player playing peekaboo here a bit. Looks like Player, though, not on the lead lap at this point. Andrew running back in the 28th position. A couple of laps down, it looks like. Bryant, though, looking for the position from John McAdam, the 47 in 10th. That is a lead lap truck. That is for position. And Klein real loose. On to turn 2. Klein not on the lead lap either. He's 23rd, first truck, 1 lap down. Bryant taking a look to the inside. McAdam doesn't fight it. That's smart racing there. You don't see a lot of that anymore, unfortunately, but when you get a guy that can reel you in from that far back and you just let him have the spot once he gets there, I think that's the smart play. I know a lot of guys might disagree, especially the younger drivers today, but save the truck, save the tires. Don't burn him up trying to hang on to a spot from a guy that's clearly faster. Be there later on. Let him come back to you because, well, he's going faster. He's putting more stress on those tires than you are. Typically, he'll come back to you.
And not only that, you're going to lose far less time by giving up that one spot than if you fight it and you bring all the guys behind you back up to you. So instead of losing that one spot, you may lose 3 or 4. You know, it's just, there's no benefit to really racing that hard at this point in the race.
We've got Albert Anderson in the chat. Says, is this live or is this Memorex? Well, Albert, you're dating yourself, and I'll date myself in saying that I know what you mean, but it's kind of live. I mean, we're live. Obviously, we read your comment, but you know this race was Wednesday. Come on. Memorex, the tape of choice if you were a frequent visitor of Radio Shack. And yes, I don't think half the people even know what Radio Shack is anymore.
I know, that just dated me there.
Russ Kilgore still running top 10 in the 9th spot. Dropped back a bit. 9th still not too shabby considering where he started tonight. Back in the 31st position. Now, Alan Vaught went 47 laps before he made his pit stop. Some guys went longer. I'm trying to remember when that last caution was. That's the other deciding factor that could play into this. I think it was about lap 62.
Right around the 60s.
So we're still probably 10, 12 laps from the earliest pit stops here. But if that's the case, we are definitely going to be in the window. This could be the last stop for everybody out there. It's just a matter of, do they want to make a stop for tires to try and gain that extra speed out on the track while sacrificing that track position? And Craig Goodenough, though, he's going to come down and pit. See, we lose him again. I'm not sure of the situation with that, but no, he's back. Maybe that was just the typical Craig Goodenough disappear for a minute. Right side tire change for the 89. What's that, Chris?
He said he is quite a magician on the racetrack. So.
And we lost him again. Andrew Cawthon now. He's going to come down and pit. So the other Albert Anderson says, Lori made me start this race from the pits, and look where I finished. Well, the race isn't over yet, Albert, so no spoilers. Alan Vaught enjoying a 3.2 second lead over second place Trevor Robertson. Stoney Benfield now has jumped into that third spot, just behind the sixth, about 10 truck lengths, maybe a little more back. Derek Welch now with some of these pit stops has worked himself into the top 5, runs fourth where he started. Again, one more round of pit stops certainly required before this one comes to an end. They got to make it for fuel for sure. So Robertson's now going to pit. Ross Kilgore is going to pit. This is right at the very edge of that fuel window. Making this pit stop right now, it's going to be tight for some of these guys, and if there's a green-white checkered finish, it's going to be even harder. Damn near impossible, unless we get a bunch of yellows from here to the end. Now Alan Vaught from the race lead hits pit lane. I don't think Alan's saving any fuel at all out there. I think that's why his pit stops came a lot sooner than a lot of the other drivers. So 4 tires and fuel again here for Alan Vaught. Drops the jack down and away goes the 33. And Derek Welch becomes the new race leader tonight. Remember, Derek pit at lap 59. He's done a good job saving fuel.
And if I know anything about DW, he's going to push these tires as far as he can to have the freshest tires on the track there towards the end, especially if it goes green. He's going to want those fresh tires for the end.
Dickerson now drives past the 21. Dickerson with a pit stop at lap 64, but that was no tires for the 68. Sorry, 69 that is. But Chris, you're right. I mean, and Derek has admitted this too. He likes the races with a shorter number of tires available over the wall because he is pretty good at taking care of them throughout the course of the race. So he doesn't burn them up. He loses the least amount of pace throughout the course of the run. It's paying off for him now as he's still battling for that race lead here with the 69, Larry Dickerson.
Now here's where you'll see the difference in new tires and old tires with Allen going by him here. You'll see what kind of gap he puts on him after clearing him. It's a second, almost 2 seconds of time that he'll gain.
Yeah, Welch's last lap was a 29.18. Allen's last lap was a 27.87. Now Dickerson, Welch, and Eaton going to come down and pit. Adamson now the new race leader. Bryant second. Eaton third, but still in the pits. Then it's Dickerson, Welch still a top 5, but in pit lane. So that's going to change as that cycles through. We got Tom in the chat asking, is that Gones I hear? And certainly is. Say hi, Chris.
What's going on, Tom? I don't know. Is that Barish, maybe? Tom Barish?
I forget who it is. I've asked a million times, and I've been told a million times, and for whatever reason, I can't recall. Who are you, Tom? As soon as I hear this, I'm going to feel like an idiot. Caution on the speedway, though. Unknown origin. So this is interesting. Caution coming out somewhat in the middle of this pit cycle. We had most of them done, but it's going to hurt Welch, Eaton, I believe. See how that pans back out. Adamson looks like he's going to have to pit. He's coming down closed pits. I think the pits are closed here.
So with where the pit entry is, it opens right before you get to it, so it's probably open.
I don't know why these cars or trucks, that is, don't want to stay loaded into the session here in pit lane, blinking in and out. But well, under caution yet again here. I think this is our fourth of the night. Again, system can't keep track, so we're not going to try. But with this yellow, we'll step aside here, get another break out of the way. We'll be back with a restart after this.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back at Phoenix Raceway, wrapping up caution number 4. Maybe that's the highest I can count. I don't know. 4-ish, yeah. Front row is going to be Alan Vaught and Goodenough again. Row 2, Adamson and Bryant, then Dixon and Roney. Green flag in the air. And we have trouble again. We do. Caution on the speedway again. No indication what it's for. Again, that's the downside to doing the replay version of these. Again, we apologize for that. I don't get any kind of data indicating that there was a caution in the replay, unfortunately. Unless I see it happen, it's hard to find it. Caution on the speedway yet again here at Phoenix.
You know, they always say cautions breed cautions, so hopefully that's not the case here. Maybe this is a one-off situation, but we'll see. I know the aggression will ramp up here as we get closer to the end of the race, so we'll see what happens.
So drivers are going to pit here. Tim Pope, Dave Mayberry going to hit pit lane. May have been involved in this. Extended pit lane last time, trying to get some repairs. Maybe remember they were involved in that big incident earlier on, but Pope still battling back. He's in the top 10 right now. We have 40 laps to go. Currently behind the iRacing pace truck. We got Tom Barish in the chat. Says, I can tell a huge difference in the stream from the lighting update. Top notch as always. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, that lighting update was significant. And in all honesty, though, this racetrack specifically under the lights just looks beautiful. Even prior to the update, it came out really nice.
Now we've seen it here the last couple of restarts here, Steve, with Allen. This track is one of the hardest places as that outside car to get that jump on that start to maintain position with the leader, because you are in turns 3, basically turn 3 and 4 when you're taking the green flag. So you have to either hear him take off or be back far enough to see him take off. And so I think that's why you're seeing Allen get such a good jump. So we'll see if Craig can time it well enough to kind of maintain a little bit closer distance to him here, getting into one.
Well, that's just it too, is if you guess, you can make it work, but if you guess wrong, you're going to the back.
Yeah, definitely don't want to beat the leader to the line, that is for sure.
Lori Vaught says in the chat, I'm going to be busy with this race report. Oh boy.
I wonder if she can see the future, Steve.
Yeah. All right, field ready for the restart. Pace truck is in pit lane. Barney with the green in hand. And we'll fire off again. Green flag in the air. Benfield trying to close the door on Derek Welch. There might have been a little bit of contact there, but so far clean and green. Oh, there we go. Chris Klein goes around. Does he save it? He looks like he may have. Did we stay green, though? Yes, we do. So Vaught continues to drive away, builds that gap back to the 89. Ooh, Kilgore threading the needle in front of Robertson. It almost cost him. Kilgore into the 16 of Kyle Vaught. Sends him up the racetrack just a bit. We continue under green, though. The 2 roughs up the 16. Kyle loses a few spots here. Robertson gets through. Tim Pope gets through. It looks like the 99 of Anderson's going to try and drive through as well. Dickerson and Jack Dixon there in line together. The 69 is Roney, smacks the wall in front of Derek Welch. Derek looked willing to go 3 wide if the opportunity presented, but just couldn't get the turn down to get to the middle. This battle now, Welch, Dustin Eaton, Scott Roney in and around the 10th spot. Close quarters again. Benfield and Dixon almost coming to blows. Benfield on the bottom of the 75. Dixon in the middle there. If Burke can get alongside, we'll be 3 wide in a moment. No, Dixon clears him off at 2. 33 to go here from Phoenix, and business has picked up. Not so much for the race leaders, but Burke loses it, gets loose, door slams Benfield, and down the track he goes. This should put us under yellow for sure as Burke goes up the racetrack in front of traffic. And under yellow again here, lap 122. Get a look at it. Yeah, Benfield's coming out of the corner, and Burke's trying to keep him pinned down there, but Benfield not lifting. Gets into Burke just a bit, upsets the handling on the truck. Burke bounces off Benfield. Benfield's going to drive away from this, but I don't know, the truck just breaks loose on Jeremiah Burke there in front of Scott Roney. They end up both headed down towards the wall. Roney's definitely going to hit it. I don't know if the 023 bounced off the wall and into Burke again, which may have saved Burke from hitting the wall. But there you have it. We'll be right back after this. Back at Phoenix Raceway, ready for the restart again. We are lined up behind the pace truck. Lights are off, so this is the one to go. We're in turn 1, so next time by, you're racing yet again. Front row, as it hasn't changed, is still Alan Vaught, Craig Goodenough. Row 2 will be Mike Adamson and Dylan Bryant. Bryant quietly working his way through. He started in the 7th spot, but wasn't that far up the field. I don't know if he took a penalty to start this race or not, but Bryant now definitely in the top 5, competing for this race win. Race truck is in. Once again, Alan Vaught taking full advantage of that number 1 restart position. Couple of trucks pancaking the wall off of turn 2 still. Pope gets into the 14 and Dustin Eaton sends the 14 up the racetrack. They certainly made contact. I don't know if that was intentional or if Pope just got to it late. Meanwhile, behind him, Kilgore in the fence. 47 to McAdam is around as well. Chris Goins coined it the best, that cautions breed cautions, in the 28, locking him up very late. George Rincon, just going to rewind this. I want to see that. Now, he may not have gotten the message because he was having connection issues. You see it there. Lights are flashing as the caution is out. He doesn't get the message, has to lock him up hard to avoid contact with anybody else. He definitely fell on the sword there, but hammers the inside wall in doing so. Going to set us up here for another restart, and we'll take full advantage of these cautions here. We're going to get another break out of the way. Stay with us. Be right back. Back at Phoenix Raceway, 24 laps to go. On the one to go, field down the back straightaway here. Still a ways to go as the pace truck has to enter there at the exit of turn 2. Green flag back in the air. Three wide behind the leaders here. Burke on the outside. Kyle Vaught on the bottom. Andrew Cawthon in the middle. 22 laps to go. Cawthon slips up a bit, stays off the left rear of Jeremiah Burke. Dylan Bryant working his way through. Oh, Bryant all over the back bumper of Cawthon there. Thought they were going to make contact. It almost looked like a right hook about to happen, but he got off him just in time. Anderson's now going to look to the bottom of the racetrack here in turn 2, trying to take the spot from Bryant. Not enough of a run to get it done. Now Bryant's going to jump back to the inside of the 10. Alan Vaught, again, jumping out to a big lead here. Half second plus back to Craig Goodenough. No battle to worry about there. Still watch these battles that are in the mid-pack here. This is about 13th, 14th position. Albert Anderson trying to hold off the 10. Anderson in the 13th spot. Benfield, though, battling still and battling handling issues in that 75 as the back end steps out on him again. Problem is that problem just gets worse and worse. Every time you do it, you put more heat into that right rear tire, and it just gets easier and easier to want to come around. 11 of Joe Canellis trying to get through. That's not for position, though. Canellis not on the lead lap.
You definitely see the aggression levels have amped up here with under 20 to go. It's you're seeing trucks get put in positions where you probably wouldn't have seen them, 50 laps ago.
So Kevin Hunt had an issue on the racetrack, got clear of everybody before the yellow was to come out. So we stay green here, 18 to go. Dickerson now up into the second spot, or if he can get clear, good enough, not quite having the pace that he once did. Of course, Dickerson made a pit stop here at lap 106. It was 11 seconds, so not 4 tires, but he certainly had time to put rights on it. Interesting strategy play. So far, it's paying off as he's been able to drive around the outside of the number 89 truck. Derek Welch still maintaining a position in the top 5. A strong run for the 21 here. He certainly had to work for it tonight, but he's doing a good job maintaining that position, trying to get some more. He's got to get by the 88 of Mike Adamson to do it. Oh, a couple of trucks with issues off turn number 2. Dustin Eaton pancakes the wall, slows his momentum. Robertson trying to find a way around. It's like a squirrel in the middle of the road trying to decide where to go. Robertson, though, goes to the inside, has position on Eaton, but how deep will the 14 drive it in? Not very by comparison as Robertson takes a spot, gets up alongside Dylan Bryant now. Bryant in 7th. Now Robertson steps out again, looking for more. Robertson's been quick tonight. We've talked about that 6 truck a lot this evening. Robertson started back in 9th, but he's been in the top 10 just about all night long. Little late entry, though. Almost gets the wall. Might have scraped the right rear. Don't know if he was in the mirror watching Dustin Eaton or just was blinded by Dylan Bryant being in the lane. As Chris talked about that earlier on in this race, not necessarily being able to see your marks because there's a truck right in front of you. Burke trying to make do here with the 82 of Everidge to his inside. Everidge not on the lead lap. Burke running 12th. Everidge back the 35th position. 24 laps down. Kyle Vaught now jumping to the inside. And Derek Welch applying pressure. He'll have the 3rd spot. It's good enough. Starts to drop back here with 12 to go. Oh, Dustin Eaton hanging on to it again out of turn 2. Truck steps out on him. Anderson applying pressure. This now for the 9th position if Eaton can hang on to it. Oh, trouble. Kyle Vaught goes around. We got a caution. Kyle Vaught backwards here at start-finish. Kyle gets it facing the right direction here. Let's take a quick look. This coming with 10 laps to go. We'll see here if there's any contact. It looks like Kyle's coming up the track. It looks like Kyle lifted or even got the brakes to avoid making contact with Burke, but Everidge in 35th, 24 laps down, gets into the back of Kyle. Then Andrew Cawthon is going to finish the job. Tough break for Kyle Vaught. He was having a decent night.
Yeah, one thing he did do is he did a good job of keeping it up in the wall after getting spun around to avoid any further damage to himself or anybody else. So
well,
he's still in it. So
it's what we say a lot. Hold the brake and just don't start turning down the racetrack. Hold the brake, hold the brake. Let that thing come to a stop on its own. Don't drift down the racetrack and collect 10 other trucks. It's a good job by Kyle for sure. But with that, we'll jump out again. We'll be right back. I know we've run a lot of commercials here tonight, but you know what? They're always shorter than Fox, so I think we're doing okay. Pace car lights are out. We're on the one to go. Ready for the restart again here. Front row is going to be Alan Vaught and Larry Dickerson now. Remember, Dickerson made a pit stop here about 5 laps after Alan Vaught. Took right side tires only. It's allowed him to get some track position and work his way towards the front. We'll see if they hang on here. It'll be 6 laps to go when we get the restart. Alan on the gas. And that's the tough break there for Dickerson, being on the outside on that restart. It opens the door for Derek Welch now, challenging for that second spot. Derek doing a great job to work his way back through. And do we have more trouble? And it sure looked like it. No, there it is.
Still going. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it just started back there and just ended up over here.
And caution is out again. Tried to find it, guys. It just wasn't easy. Dustin Eaton's going to be involved in this as he's parked just inside pit lane. So, full disclosure, guys, every time I show a replay, I got to jump to a break to get back to the correct lap. So that's why we keep running all these commercials. But I figured I'd rather do that, show you the actual incident, and it also speeds us through a little bit of caution lap. So we're going to show you the wreck here, quick here. I think it was just a moment ago. No, in fact, I can't even show you that without just rewinding it. So, whatever. I hate doing it this way, but if you want to see it, this is how it's got to be. When we run these replays live, it's easier because the data shows up and I have a button that I can click to just go right to the wreck itself. Unfortunately, in the replay, it doesn't always work the way you want it to. But here it is. This is live as it happened. Watch the 14. That started really ahead of these guys. They got a little crossed up. That's where I thought the wreck was happening, but Eaton never lifted. He tried to drive up the middle here. They were 3 and 4 wide. There's just not enough room to do that because Cawthon's got to get that truck turned, and he can't get it there. Then you see everybody run sideways here in front of the field. Average gets through. The one's going to collect Eaton here just a bit. But there you have it.
I'm impressed he made it through as far as he did.
Yeah. We'll be right back, folks.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
All right, back at Phoenix Raceway. Let's see if we can get this thing settled here. 3 laps to go. Alan Vaught, Larry Dickerson down the backstretch. Pace truck is in. Again, don't get too excited. We're about a half a lap away from the restart, but it'll be 2 to go when we get to the line. And I think this makes it not an official green-white checker. This is a natural green-white checker. We'll see if we can make it to the end here. Lap 151 will go up on the board as they cross the line. It'll be 2 laps to go. Vaught on the throttle. Dickerson stuck there in second. Welch will take advantage. She gets to the inside, but good enough, pushing the 69 with everything he's got down into turn number 1. Vaught's just got to make it back to the finish line here. Do they get it done? Oh, it doesn't look like it. Will they get through turn 2? Nope, big time trouble. The 84 in this. It's like Bittner in trouble. Kyle Vaught in it as well. Caution on the speedway yet again. This will put us into a green-white checkered situation. And if I remember correctly, this series only does one green-white checkered. Is that correct?
I do believe that is correct, yes, sir.
So, or did it not get turned on? Because now the overlay is saying final lap. So maybe, I don't know. We're going to find out here in a minute. This could also be another glitch due to a replay. And Barney's waving the checkered flag here. This is confusing to me because it doesn't even show we've started the last lap of the race yet. This is technically lap 153 that we just started on the 153 schedule. Okay. So Jeremiah Burke says, nope, that's it, sir. The scheduled race was 150. So, because we operated this on a replay, I looked up to see how many laps was scheduled, but because it was a replay, it indicated 153 laps. So that was our green-white checkered. So sorry about that, guys. But as to no one's surprise, Alan Vaught, your race winner, a dominant performance by the driver of that 33 truck. He'll take the win here. I'm going to step aside here because we've got some very severe storms here where I'm at. I got to make sure everything's tied down quickly, but we will not miss our top 3 interviews, so stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Race number 4 from Phoenix in the books. Alan Vaught from pole to victory lane. Most laps led. A dominant performance by the driver, the number 33. We're going to get a word with Alan Vaught right now. Pull him up into the Track Limits Network broadcast booth. Alan, it's Steve and Chris Goins up in the booth. You got us?
Hey, Steve, I got you. Can you hear me?
Hear you loud and clear. Alan, congratulations, man. A dominant win here from Wednesday night. Of course, tape delaying it tonight, but walk us through that race. What makes you so good at this place? It just didn't seem like anybody had anything for you here that night.
I don't know, man. There's something about the way I drive the truck. I guess it just lends itself to being really fast at this track in particular. At the beginning of the race, I tried to run away from Pope as far as I could and establish, a decent gap in case we went green. And I think he was trying to save a bit of fuel there. But I think it would have been tough for him to make it on 2 stops. But I just kind of stuck with my plan. And then we started having some cautions, I think, around lap 112. So then that put me into a bind. I'm sitting there, okay. After the first few cautions, I was good to go on fuel. But the problem was I was wrestling as to whether or not I needed to go in for tires. And so with fuel off the table, now I was worried about these guys behind me who had, in some cases, 20 lap fresher tires. Which forced me to be very careful and manage my tires throughout the rest of that run. And in some ways, those later cautions helped me with that. Had it went totally green, I think maybe those fresher tires would have gotten me. So it was a nail biter to the end with all the cautions, and I think I was fortunate to maintain my lead and the pace I was able to establish.
It's almost crazy to think that sometimes your biggest competitor is your own mind. Yet such a dominant truck out there tonight, but you're talking about strategies and you're thinking about all that. Who did what on their pit strategies, whether they have tires that are fresher than yours, the fuel economy conversations. You seem to be pitting about every lap 47 as far as fuel went. Some guys were able to stretch it to 52. So it worked out in the end. You parked the truck in victory lane, man. Congratulations.
Oh, hey, man, I appreciate it. It was a good night for me.
With that said, next race coming up Wednesday, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Certainly a different style track, really fast out there at Vegas. I think in qualifying you're running wide open. How do you feel about your chances to go 2 in a row next week?
I think they're pretty good. Vegas is, like you said, at the beginning of a run is pretty much wide open. I think you're going to see a lot tighter racing than you saw here once we got strung out. More packish, a little more of the draft effect. But I think it'll be a good show. I think it's under the lights as well, so it always looks good if it's under the lights. I'm feeling good about it.
All right, Alan. Well, again, nice job here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, man, as always, my wife Lori for everything she does for the Vigilante Racing League, and my teammates Kelly Cool, Dave Crashberry. I know you saw that one incident earlier tonight, and Greg Klein. I want to thank Track Limits Network for highlighting the league in the way you do, and then a special shout out to new Vigilante Racing League viewers, Fred and Sarah Maston. I want to thank them for tuning into the broadcast as well. Other than that, guys, appreciate you doing the tape delay on this one.
Happy to do it, Alan. And Fred and Sarah, you guys don't be bashful. Jump in that stream chat and say hello to everybody when you get the opportunity when you're watching these races. The more the merrier. All right, Alan Vaught, winner tonight here at Phoenix. Next, we're going to talk to the runner-up, Larry Dickerson, with what appears to be some strategy at the end to get him up there into that second spot. We're going to pull Larry into the booth and get a word with him and see if that was indeed the case. Larry, it's Steve and Chris in the booth. You got us?
Got you loud and clear.
Larry, congratulations. A runner-up finish here at Phoenix Raceway. I got to ask, it looks like you made a pit stop about 5 laps after Alan Vaught. A little bit longer stop, but not quite 4 tires worthy. Was that a right-side-only decision?
I had top 10 speed all night on the long run, but that's about it. And I figured if I come in and get some tires, that'll be my only chance to get a net positive out of it. And I actually did take 4 tires because we had an extra set in the pit, so I figured go on and use them. And it ended up working out. I just wish I didn't have that caution with 10 to go because I was catching Alan, and it was going to be a good old battle between me and him at the end.
Well, if you took 4 tires, it was an 11.06 second stop on that final pit stop. So your guys were hopped up on something to get them done that fast. But either way, it was working in your favor. And I know Alan mentioned that you guys were coming in a hurry, and he said that those cautions certainly helped him. As you mentioned, they did not help you. But still a solid finish, second place, bringing it home 1 shy of that race win. How do you feel about next week? Las Vegas Motor Speedway coming up, much faster racetrack, as Alan said, likely to be wide open the first handful of laps in the run. How do you feel about your shot at maybe a top 5 or maybe even picking up a win next week?
I'm very confident. Las Vegas has always been one of my better tracks. I've got a couple wins there in some league races. And it's just one of those tracks, everybody likes to go wide open the first couple laps. I like to sit back and save my tires for the long run. And usually those are pretty nonchalant. Don't have a lot of caution, so you have to save a little fuel if you need to. And I'm pretty good at saving fuel, so I'm very confident that we can put it in the top 5 and maybe even a win. I'm definitely confident on the top 10 speed still.
Well, congratulations again. With all that said, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
First off, I want to thank my teammates. Derek, he got top 3, so to get outcast 2 of the top 3 is pretty awesome. And as a matter of fact, Dylan too, because I think he got 5th. So 3 of the top 5 are outcast racing teammates, so that's pretty cool. Give a shout out to you for your amazing broadcast. You do it the best one in the business, I think, week in and week out. And it's cool to hear Chris in broadcast too, so shout out to Chris for all his expertise and all his visual points. Shout out to all the league sponsors, and mainly Jess for everything he does, but the biggest one is for Lori, for everything she does for keeping us crazy folks together best she can on some Wednesdays. I know sometimes it seems like it's hard. And shout out to everybody in VRL. I will constantly say this every day. I'm a VR member for life. This is, to me, the best league there is in iRacing. And yeah, so shout out to her, because I've been going through a lot the last couple of weeks, and she's been there for me, helping me through it and out things outside in life. So shout out to her.
Well, racing's certainly a big family, Larry. I hope things turn around for you in the good direction. Congratulations again on the second place finish, and also thanks for the kind words about the broadcast. It's always good to have Chris Goins up here. He's kind of like my Kevin Harvick up here in the booth. So, Larry, congrats, man. Good luck next week at Las Vegas, and thanks for chatting with us.
All right, no problem. And I did forget one. I'm sorry to hold you up.
No, you're good.
The Angelman Center Foundation, again, anybody can go donate to that organization or any forms of autism. You'll be doing that organization or that cause an awesome job.
All right, Larry. Well, congrats again, man. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, buddy. See you next week.
Larry Dickerson, your second place finisher here at Phoenix Raceway. Next, we're going to talk to old DW, driver of the 21 Davidson Builders TRD Pro, Derek Welch. Pull him up into the booth here. Derek, it's Steve and Chris in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Derek, congratulations, man. I know this is a tape-delayed race, but fun to watch. It was kind of a warm-up for you for your race on, actually, the other way around. Tuesday was your warm-up. But either way, a strong run. You went to the back, you went to the front, you made a pit stop, put you 25th, and very quickly worked your way back into the top 10 to come home to a third-place finish. What was the real key to success here tonight?
Well, like I told you last week, I hate this place with a passion. Everything about it I hate. Keep the tires up under me. That was my main goal. Don't overdrive the truck. I overdrove it Tuesday, wrecked myself, and got myself out of the race. So I learned my lesson from NTRL not to do it here, and it paid off. Keep tires up under me. Keep rear tires especially up under me. And on that last run right there, me and Larry was running on the same tires, and Larry shot out of the cannon. I said, yeah, I'm just going to let him go because I feel like there's going to be a short caution sprint here, and I wanted to save my tires till that little sprint, and we got it, but we didn't get the sprint. So third place at Phoenix, man, I take it. I hate this place. I'm glad it's over. I can't stand sitting here watching the broadcast about it.
Got the top 3 out of the way. Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week. That's more in your wheelhouse. Do you have a plan in place for that, Net?
Basically the same thing. Keep tires. Everybody likes to go full blast there, so I like to just hang back, middle of the pack, keep my tires up under me, make the late runs. I'm usually pretty good. I love Vegas, so feel very confident bring out a top 5, and hopefully a win. Try to get my first win this season.
All right, Derek. Well, congrats on the top 3 here. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
My teammates, Outcast had a good night tonight. Good night the other night. Larry, Dylan, Lori, amazing lead. Jesse, yourself for a great broadcast, and Chris Goins sharing his knowledge. And that's it.
All right, Derek. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
All right, later.
It's Derek Welch, third place finisher here at Phoenix. That concludes the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look at the race results. Of course, we talked to our top three. Alan Vaught, Larry Dickerson, Derek Welch were the top three. Craig Goodenough was fourth. Strong run for Craig. Certainly the hard charger this evening. Started 26, drove it up to a fourth place finish. Dylan Bryant was fifth. Jeremiah Burke, sixth. Mike Adamson was seventh. Eighth place went to Timothy Pope. Ninth was Albert Anderson, a strong run for him as well. Dave Crashberry finished in the 10th spot. 11th was Greg Dobson. He was up 22 positions as well. Same number of cars passed as Craig Goodenough, but Goodenough finished in the 4th spot, so I guess he'll get that hard charger if there is one. Scott Roney was 12th. Ricky Wittenberg, 13th. Trevor Robertson finished in the 14th position. 15th place finisher Kyle Vaught. Dustin Eaton, my pick, not so good. 16th place tonight after a late wreck, really, is what took him out of this, it seems. Joe Canellis, 17th. Stoney Benfield was 18th. Andrew Cawthon, 19th. Chris Klein, 20th. George Rincon, 21st. Sean McDonald, 22nd. Andrew Player was 23rd. Austin Paul, 24th. Josh Bittner, 25th. Chandler Paul, 26th. 27th went to Dustin Wade. 28th, David Fite. Deion Jones was 29th. 30th went to Jack Dixon. Kevin Hunt was 31st. Greg Klein, 32nd. Mike Everidge, 33rd. 34th finisher was the 2 of Russ Kilgore. An early exit for the 2. He finishes 27 laps down, but was up in that top 10 without issue earlier on in the race. John McAdam, 35th. John Gallagher, 36th. Anthony Williams, 37th. And Kelly Cool, last but not least. Tough night for Kelly. Last place finish, 116 laps down. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Certainly congratulations to Alan Vaught for taking the race win here in dominant fashion. Thanks to Chris Goins for joining me in the booth here tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Certainly appreciate that. And I think it was Fred and Sarah, the new watchers here tonight. Again, don't be bashful. Jump in that stream chat next time you watch one of these things. We don't bite unless we're asked to. And even then, we charge more. So, Chris, any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
After that, I don't think I can follow that one up. I just look forward to later on this week at Vegas and seeing what these guys put on the track out there. I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
It's probably best. Chris, thanks again, man. Thank you guys all for watching. We'll see you at the next one. Have a good night.